Today, another article from stories.com. It's been a interesting first half of the year in Toronto real estate and GTA real estate. And the article that I've got here from stories.com, as always, linked in the description down below if you want to check out stories.com and the articles that they have to offer. This article will be linked down below specifically. So article is linked, GTA condo sales have seen the slowest first half since 2013. So in the last 11 years, this is the slowest first 6 months of a year for GTA condo sales that we've seen in quite some time. So a combination of Q1 and Q2 sales were 42% below the 10-year average. So not just below the lowest, it's below the average over the last 10 years. And this is according to data from Urban Nation. So this article was just written yesterday on August 1st. So very, very fresh article. And as it states here, the condo sales in the Greater Toronto Area had a sleepy start to the year. According to a new report from Urban Nation, we all know that the first quarter of the year was slow. Not only was it winter, but also a lot of hesitation in, do we trust the Bank of Canada? Are they going to raise rates, hold rates? What are they actually going to do? And then just before Q2 kicked off, Bank of Canada did announce that, hey, we're not going to raise rates in this quarter, and then we saw that spurt that we did where things increased. The article continues, the Toronto-based research and consulting firm reported Tuesday that 6,727 condo units were sold in the first half of 2023, marking a 59% decrease from the first half of 2022. So year over year, they're comparing Q1 to Q2. Q1 2022, we know, was the peak, so this is not a surprise here. Combination of Q1 and Q2 sales also came in 42% below the 10-year average, which is pretty surprising if I'm not honest, but if we were just comparing year over year, it would not be surprising. The 10-year average, that's a little bit of a different story. Now, this represents the slowest first 6 months since 2013, as the article title states. Now, the president of Urban Nation, Sean Hildebrand, states here that additionally, that the GTA 12-month running total for new condo sales has slipped to the lowest level since 2009. So not only are condo sales having a hard time, so are the new condo sales and new developments. Now, when looking at Q2 by itself, there's been 4,600 units sold, and that's an increase from Q1 of 118%. We saw the market go crazy in April, May, June. So the increase from Q1 to Q2, not surprising at all to myself. Q2 sales, they fell 35% year over year. Year over year, we know, not a big deal, but we are still 28% below that 2-year average. I'll have the article scrolling beside me here, and you'll notice here with this chart that I'll have linked, this is the lowest year, as they're stating. You had some big years in 2017, 21, and 22, and 2023 was just a really rough start for Q1 and Q2 on condo sales, keep in mind, not as a whole. Now, the second quarter saw sales improve, which is fantastic. Pre-sale launches is interesting because there's 27 new projects which were announced, and 7,300 plus units are going to be available. Particular unit count was 27% below the year ago, but we know now that rates are significantly higher. So even though there is a lot of pre-construction units, I know a lot of people are struggling to go ahead and pull the trigger on those. If you're going to pull the trigger on a pre-construction project, and right now, qualifying for a mortgage, that is just the biggest struggle that most people have. Before we continue, if you like this type of content from me, going over some of these news articles, subscribe to the channel, like the video, and share it with somebody else who might find some interest in it. So as we get back into it here, the number of new projects brought to market in the second quarter were successful. They sold a good portion of their units. The overall performance maintained the trajectory for the year, but as Bank of Canada resumed these interest rate increases in June, they did see a step back. So you've got 57% absorption here, and usually the 10-year average is about 60%, so we're below that, and they trend does lead the president here, Hildebrand, to mention that the increase in the rates will soon begin to impact construction, and eventually it will cause a supply shortage in a few years, the extent of which will depend on how long the current slowdown in pre-sale persists. So if the slowdown in pre-sale continues, what it's going to mean is the builders are not going to be as likely to release these projects like they were in the last 2-3 years at such rapid paces. The builders are going to say, hey, I don't want to release my building with 60 other options out there for that potential buyer. I want to release my building when it is going to be a little bit more specialized, and this may be what we see, a pullback in the inventory that's available going forward. So it's less incentivizing for builders to really rush their projects either. You might see a regular 3 to 5 year term on the anticipated move-in date on some of these new projects. We might even see those extended 7-10 years in some cases, depending on where the market goes and what the affordability is ultimately like. So as it stands right now, new condo prices, they decreased 1.3%, so very marginal in Q2. And year over year, they're down 2%. Very marginal, not a big number, but what we're seeing in the new construction category is interesting because builders can't sell a lot of these units right now. They're having a very difficult time doing so. So what they're doing is they're adding incentives. I've seen a building recently offering draws for vehicles, free parking, locker included, upgraded kitchen cabinets, upgraded appliances, things like that. They do a lot of this to offset the price that you may be asked to pay for some of these units, because the builders generally, you're not negotiating with them. If something is $600,000, it's $600,000. They can offer you free incentives and additions, but they can't give you a discount on the price, because if somebody else has previously paid $600,000 for that same unit without getting any discount, then you're going to run into a lot of issues because these previous buyers are just going to want to get out of their contracts. So 1 year later, we're seeing a pre-construction price difference of 13-14%, which is pretty significant for a lot of people who, if you buy pre-construction, you're going to be waiting a long time regardless. So to see a year later that you're already losing value on some of these projects is kind of disheartening, if I'm not going to be honest myself. And alongside with the affordability here, the GTA condo sector is facing significant resource constraints. Of the number of starts continues to run well ahead of capacity to deliver new units. So over the last 4 quarters, construction starts totaled 27,537 units, more than 10,000 units above the number of completions in the same period, which was 17,117 units, pushing the total for condos under construction to a record high. So right now, a record high construction of 102,448 units that are currently being built in the GTA. That is an enormous amount of condos that are being built in the GTA. And if you've watched some of my previous videos, we've discussed immigration and the amount of people that are coming in. So it's good. However, we have to remember a condo is not for everybody. If you have a family, a condo may not be an option for you depending on how much space that you actually need. So it's nice to see we're at record highs for the amount of condos that are being built that are, shovel in the ground, getting started there. But a lot of these are 3, 5, 7, 10 years out just to have those 100,000 units. And if we're being honest, your condo price point just to get into something right now is almost 600,000. And that's just in the GTA as an average. It's going to be over that if you're actually going into Toronto with a Toronto postal code. So to get into the market at 700,000 still requires a lot of capital. You're going to need a household income north of $170,000 roughly, depending on what your down payment is. So all of these condo prices dropping, it's not surprising to me because people just are having a hard time getting into the market. Let me know in the comment section down below, if you were going to be buying a property right now, would you be investing in pre-construction? Would you be investing in a condo in general with the current prices? Or would you just keep saving your money and try to catch up to get into something that's beyond a condo? Thanks so much for watching this video. I look forward to seeing you in the next one. This has been another article from stories.com that we broke down for you. Once again, if you like this type of content from me, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel. Have a wonderful day.